Buy our merch indeed, and y'all shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. We
Guys,
are in the midst
of the warning stream for DJ Mike Franco.
Mike Franco
in this
bitch.
Up next on the list is the song called "The One" by The Warning, obviously.
The Warning. Like, share, comment, subscribe.
Did I already send you the lyrics?
Shout out to all my Twitter gang. Shout out to Rumble gang. Here we are.
Whoops, where's my headphones?
What's it called again? The One.
The One.
Ready?
Yes.
And let's do it.
Yes, I already sent you the lyrics.
Anything to make it happen. Tell me your secrets. What are you hiding? Remember me as I was before. It's something that I have decided, even if my intent is misguided. Don't want to be. Never mind me. Can you explain to me what's this feeling? Love it or hate it, it's never leaving. Want to believe that you feel it too. There is no reason to even doubt it. Please understand that I am not lying. My heart is true. It beats for you. Always staring from afar. Fantasizing that something might happen. Always wishing that I was the one, the one, the one. Give me something I can feel. I'm too afraid to ask. What is it I need to change for you to love me back? Is it all in my head, or was it something you said that left my heart exposed? I know that I'm not the one in your mind, but still, let me be the one. Guarantee that I'll be forgiven, but it's just something that I am willing to do for you. There's nothing left to prove, and I wanna kill all the love that's for you. So won't be my remake. There's nothing to do. You look at me and don't leave me. Always staring from afar. Fantasizing that something might happen. Always wishing that I was the one, the one, the one. Give me something I can feel. I'm too afraid to ask. What is it I need to change for you to love me back? Is it all in my head, or was it something you said that left my heart exposed? And I know that I'm not the one in your mind, but still, let me be. Say that you will believe, never hurt and leave me. Say that it won't come true. Hold me like you really love me. Tell me that you do. Give me something I can feel. I'm too afraid to ask. What is it I need to change for you to love me back? Is it all in my head, or was it something you said that left my heart exposed? And I know that I'm not the one in your mind, but still, I will be the one.
I think that was a relationship song.
I believe it was as well.
Was it a relationship song?
I
Okay, here
would
we go.
say
Here we go.
So I would say so. That girl, they're so passionate when they do their music. You know, when we were listening to the compilation before, and she was saying like they regret not being able to learn to ride a bike, and that at this age they still haven't.
Yeah.
Or at the age of that recording, they still hadn't really learned to ride a bike. And I was thinking like, oh my gosh, that sucks. And then you think to yourself, yeah, but when you watch them play, you're like, wow, I wish that I could play like that, like with that level of passion and that, you know what I mean? Like to be able to take your soul and just express it out like that without holding back is like, that's a real gift. And then you think to yourself, right, they never learned to ride bikes. So then they're practicing this all the time. And so you have to like, life is about sacrificing, and you can't have everything. And so you have to decide what it is that you want, and then you have to let some things go to have the things that you truly want. But at the end of the day, there'll always be something. Like most of us can't say that we're on a stage like that, but we did learn to ride a bike.
Right.
So there's just, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we had a lot of great times, playing cops and robbers and all that on the bikes and putting the little cards in there to make it sound like a motorcycle. Like we have those memories, but we don't have this. So, this song was intense, like in the sense that, that's a really rough place to be at. It kind of sounded like a person that really wanted to be with somebody and wanted that person to see them, but also seemed like they were willing to, like,
I'll do anything to make it happen.
Yeah. And it just like wanting that person to want you, and like, what can I do for you to love me back? What is it that I need to change for you to love me back? That's Is It All in My Head? Was it something you said that left my heart exposed? And it seemed, she's talking about how he's got somebody else on his brain, but she wants to be the one.
Yep.
But
that's interesting. All right, go ahead, keep going.
Why?
Well, that's always a conflict I have, where it's like we talked about this earlier. Is I always say that men supposed to have a calming effect on women, and women are supposed to have a civilizing effect on men. And it's like all relationship sort of gurus like, oh, you shouldn't try to change your partner, you should love your partner and blah blah blah. But it's like, yeah, but if your partner is a gangbanger, or if your partner is going out there like living a bachelor, there's things that happen in a bachelor lifestyle. You can go to the club at 2-3 in the morning. You can talk to any girl you want. You can, whatever. There's no crying child. There's no, but when you get married, those things have to change. You can't get married and be like, yeah, man, I'm not changing for nobody. Like, I'm going to go clubbing, bitch. Or I'm going to go, like, what? Mm-hmm. Like, you're married. So, like, we have all these, like, modern phrases, like, don't change for anybody and blah, blah, blah. I was like, what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. Marriage changes you. It should. Having children changes you. Like, a lot of these things change you. Like, it's impossible to stay the same. So then when she says, like, what do I have to change to get you to love me? It's like automatically tastes wrong.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's like, well, how does change in a relationship work in a way that's not a surrendering of the identity?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I think the part
question that kind of makes us go, oh no, is because I'm really confused as to what's happening with these timestamps, though. Should I just... I don't know. I'll write them down here, and we'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
I think the part that kind of makes you say, oh, no, is that she's saying, what can I change so you will love me? It's not like, okay, we love each other, so what is it that I can change to make things easier for you or for us to become closer? Uh-huh. It's, you don't even love me, but I want to get... And, boy, that seems like a really horrible place to start a relationship. But at the same time, you could even think of that in the like a arranged marriages type situation. Those I've heard actually last pretty well. So, if it was like at the beginning of one of those and the person is saying, all right, like what can I do to make you love me? That has a different vibe to it than than somebody who's like, I'm desperate for you to love me and I'll do anything to change myself and morph into something different than I really am. You know, I think that I agree. I do think that, you know, that you do make choices and decisions to stay close to somebody. I mean, the Bible talks about, like, it's leave and cleave is the phrases, you know, like you leave your parents and whatever, and then you cleave to somebody else, and then the two become one flesh. And so, you know, there are things about each other that, one, you'll change just because you love the other person, but also, like, sometimes people don't ask you to change something, but, you know, when you're trying to be close to somebody, you'll make certain decisions because you want to be close. Mm-hmm. So it's not that the person is like, I won't love you until you do this or that. It's just that when you love somebody, you know, you make choices to be around that person or to be close to that person. And sometimes it's at the expense of yourself or your own plans or your own, you know, whatever. And I mean, it's a difficult subject for me to speak on because I think that, you know, we can be a little codependent. So, you know, I don't want to throw out unhealthy advice for people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I agree.
So,
I agree.
But yeah, that was.
Yeah. Changing for people is it's a very complex issue. I think, like, being a Christian, though, you kind of have a little bit of an advantage in the sense of the doctrine of original sin, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, I ain't changing for nobody. But then it's like, well, if original sin is true, then you should change. Right? Like, Jesus didn't come out saying, hey, everybody, you need to accept yourself.
Yeah.
The kingdom of God is at hand. He's saying, repent, change.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's literally telling us, change. There's something wrong with you. Mm-hmm. So if I go into a relationship believing there's something wrong with me, there's something wrong with her, then the concept that, hey, you need to change is a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're doing X, Y, Z thing that's hurtful. This should change because, and when you hear that criticism, instead of saying, you're not going to change me, it should be, well, if I have a sinful nature, and if my sin has deceived me, which the Bible says that our hearts lie to us to justify ourselves. You know, Paul says that our consciences are consistently accusing and excusing us simultaneously. So it's like,
oh my gosh, I forgot about that verse.
If that's true, and my wife comes and says something to me about something that's hurting her, then it's more likely true than false that she's right about that. And from that context, if you have that assumption, then of course you need to change. And of course you need to change for a person. So I don't think that our generation has figured out when that's a good thing and when that's a bad thing, or how to identify healthy change for a relationship versus unhealthy change for a relationship. I don't think that our generation has had that conversation.
Yeah. I do think that's a discussion that's hard to have if you don't have God as that's your center. Like, I mean, the reason that relationships were created in the first place is a way for us to recognize and understand the relationship of God in his people. So there's this, you know, like, we represent something else. We're not an end unto ourselves. Like, we represent something. So when you have that mindset, there's certain things that are on the table and certain things that aren't. So, you know, like, if the guy is saying, oh, you know, I'm gonna go out and slay 3 broads tonight, like, that can't happen because, you know, your relationship is expressing this loyalty and this relationship between God and
you out here slaying these hoes
and his people. So it doesn't really work, and that kind of helps you to draw the lines where they need to be drawn. Well, at the same time, like, you know, there's, like you said, I think, like, for me, I always get hung up. I do the best when I keep it balanced, but a lot of times I'll be like, he's the problem, or I'll be like, I'm the total problem. But I always feel the most balanced when I'm like, yeah, there's some of both there, you know, because it's very unlikely. And I notice this, you know, as a parent, because kids are always, you know, there's always something, with the little ones. I think our older ones, they've figured it out. You know what I mean? Like they talk it out. They'll push back if they feel like somebody's going a little too far with them. They'll say whatever. Like
That's
they're
after
very
hours
good.
and hours of training.
Exactly. But they've gotten to that point, which most people have a lot of problems with their teenagers. So I definitely think that the system is working. But the younger ones, we're working on that with them now because they're a lot smaller. But, trying to, as a parent, like recognizing, okay, something popped off, one person's crying, and one person is looking annoyed. Probably both parties did something. I used to always think the one crying was the victim and the other one was the perpetrator. But now it's like, now I realize, okay, what did you do? What did you do? It seems both people did something. It just so happened somebody hit harder, or whatever they decided to do to get their vengeance. So you work through it with them. So because of that standpoint, it does help me to realize that, it's very unlikely in certain situations that only one person is the problem in a given situation. And, yeah, I think that's it's a healthier mindset than to say you are the problem or I am the full problem.
Yeah. But if original sin
Right.
isn't true, then it is possible I could just be a better person than you.
Right.
And your
right.
problems are your problems, and
Yeah.
I'm above you, and
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
always be above. But if we both suck, and on top of that, if the Bible explicitly tells me your heart is going to trick you,
Yeah.
then you have to kind of pause and be like, wait a second, these are the closest to me people to me on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I think they're just waking up, making shit up, and want to destroy me, like.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably listen when they say this and this is a problem. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
The other thing too is like there's a goal for your family. Like if our religion sets that pace for us, so we're headed towards something, we're doing something.
Yeah.
And I think that there is a certain like loss of soul, like your soul is like the part of you that's like very you that expresses
100%.
itself through art, through likes and dislikes, through your emotions and stuff like that. And like, I think that those parts of ourselves can sort of become like closed behind a door in certain relationships, and very like closed off. And I don't think that that's healthy for any of us to close off ourselves. Or you see something bad about yourself and you're like, I have to stop this immediately, instead of trying to be like, yeah, but why is that pattern something that keeps happening? Like, why am I drawn to that? Or why am I expressing myself in that way? And figure out like what else is going on beyond that. But I think that because when you're a Christian, you have a relationship with God, then there are ways to express your soul that if other areas are kind of like closed off, there's still outward movement to your soul. So it's not completely, I think it's a real tragedy when somebody gets to the end of their life and they're just completely closed off to the world and they're unable to open up to anyone or anything.
yeah, and I think that line, like, what do I have to change to get you to love me or whatever, I think is the difference between that and what we talked about earlier is a form of unconditional love that results in a changed life. Right? So it's like, okay, you love me unconditionally. If I lose my mind one night and go try to find somebody and do some dumb shit and I show up and my, obviously some shit happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be like, okay, he's completely wrong. Right? And like, like I came upstairs, I could tell, like, this is completely wrong. You should not have done this. What the hell were you thinking? Type thing. But you didn't say any of that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it was like, I felt really terrible about it because I'm like, now she's worried and blah. You see what I'm saying? Like, and so like that like makes me like, you have to say, okay, something has to change. Like you can't, you can't do that anymore. Like, what the hell are you thinking? Like, you're not 20 years old. What are you doing? And that kind of love that forces change because the person is unconditional towards you, and you know that you cannot, you know how special that is, so you can't just take it for granted and you say, well, if it's between this and her, I'm going to choose her. I think that's one kind of change for the sake of another person, but that's coming from a premise of love assumed. So I assume because you love me unconditionally, even if I never fix this, even if I went out every night and came up with a, whatever razor blade, it doesn't matter. Like, you're gonna love me regardless, even though like you don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like because the love started first, I want to change. So it's not. That's why I was like so uncomfortable with that phrase. What do I have to do to get you to love me?
Yeah.
Or what do I have to change to get you to love me? And
Right.
I was like having a hard time with it because I'm like, on the one hand, it's like everybody needs to change in a relationship, but not that way. Right? Not that way.
The other thing too is like forced change. Like when somebody wants somebody else to change, it rarely works. I was reading this, I was reading this experiment they did at like Stanford, and it was really, I mean, they took sorry, the topic's a little. They took unalived, like, when somebody wants to unalive themselves, I don't know how you can say it on the channel or whatever, but letters for the end of, like when people were going to end themselves. And then they took letters that were just made up, that were also to make it sound like that. And then they told the people that they needed to read the letters and that they had to distinguish between the real ones and the false ones. And then what they did is after, they just lied to everybody, and they told a certain group of people, you got like 98% of them right, you're really good at being able to tell the real from the fake. And then they told the other ones, you did horrible, like your numbers were very low, you can't tell the difference between the two. And then after that, then they told everybody, okay, the whole thing was a big giant lie. Everybody basically had the same amount right and wrong, like it was basically even across the board. And then they gave them another set of letters, and like the people that were told you did such a horrible job believed you couldn't change their mind after that, even though they knew that they had been lied to. It was the ones that thought that were told that they did really great, they believed that they were really good even beyond that. And the ones that were told that they did bad, they couldn't get out of that mindset that they were bad at it. So they just kept going, even though they were faced with the facts, they couldn't change their mind on it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Now I forgot where I was going to go with that. Anytime I start to say something like that and I don't know how it's going to affect people, and I start thinking about everybody's emotions, then I can't remember my the point I was going to make with it. I start feeling bad for people. I don't know, maybe I know that one of my points is just to say that I think that, like you said, love is important and should be like the reason why we choose. Oh, that's what it was. Because people, like when you try to change somebody else, like they're set in a certain path, and there's no amount of browbeating that's going to change people. And you know that from, being a parent of small kids all the way up to, grown teenagers. Like, people are going to do what they want to do. You can influence people, you can give them wisdom, but at the end of the day, with that whole phrase, like, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. We are all the horses. Like, nobody can make anybody else change. And I do think that love is an amazing motivator for why we do the things that we do. I mean, there's certain decisions that I make for my life that I know definitively I would never make for anybody else. And I know that because I was tested on that in previous relationships where the person asked me for a fraction of what I do with our relationship, and I refused to do it. But you didn't ask it of me, but I was compelled because I love you and I wanted to, there's certain closenesses that a certain closeness that I wanted with you that I had to make those sacrifices to get. And that's the whole conversation of sacrifice. You can't have everything. There are certain things that you have to sacrifice to get close to people, but you just have to decide what's healthy, what's something you're not going to do, but I don't think that, like before there's actual love between the two people, or it's not an arranged marriage type situation for somebody to be like, I just want to be the one, like I'm desperate, because I think that sets you up for abuse, really, because you've put yourself in this really, really desperate situation and the person doesn't love you like that. And, I don't think that that's going to work out well for anybody. It seems to me that the other person that has the upper hand, anytime I ever saw that played out in actual real life, the person that had the upper hand just started feeling like that they were, just started treating the other person like,
Basura.
Yeah. So anyway, you have more to say?
9.5 for me. This is the song of the night so far. Although we got one more song to go. But
I liked watching the video too, like watching her on the Pow. Is it Pow on the drums?
yeah, Paola.
Yeah, she did really good on the drums. I love to see, the way that they play, and I know that they had some struggles, like a lot of work went into this, but it doesn't seem like that they're losing their passion and stuff for it. So that's really cool. All right, you guys, we have Choke up next, live at the Pepsi Center 2023. So we'll be right back. Oh wait, did I rate it? That was a 9.5.
I give it a 9.5. Yeah.
Did I give it a 9.5 or did I give it a 9.5?
Possibly, Jay. Possibly. Vin, the only reason you feel that way is because you live by integrity as a constitution. A lot of dudes don't live like that. I got you.
Vinny's very principled.
We're going to go right to the next song because the last song of the night, it's called Choke. Is there any thingamajiggy?
He said, please share the photo. Oh my God.
Got another photo of the
It's them
barn.
at Christmas time. That's so cute.
Oh my God, that is true. Hold on.
Here we go. And we have
Hey,
the holidays on the way.
Yeah, we got
Here you
this
go.
picture of the warning.
So, in 2024, we play at Times Square, and then we rock the MTV WMAs.
VMAs, yeah.
What did I say?
You said WMAs.
Oh, well, sorry. Okay, Choke.
Well, V and W, kind of the same letter, actually.
What, did the kids turn off the AC again?
Yeah, but I think we're in good shape.
Okay.
Put 5940 for the timestamp on this one. All right, guys, here we go. Choke by the band, The Warning. I'm Vin, that's Sorry. Director Mike in this bitch, let's do it.
I won't say goodbye in the end. I won't survive the fall. Do I make it through?
Talk to me! Hey!
Wear your tears like jewelry. The vice is overpriced, but art is that die on me. Don't cry. Just let me drown. Let me drown.
Rumble, young man, rumble. That song
Wow.
was hard as hell, bro. Y'all didn't know I was a hidden talent,
We had
eh?
no idea, Vin. Why?
You thought Sori was going to be
Why-
the singer of the band.
Why would you put me on lyrics when you could do them so
She
well?
merely adopted the songs,
He was born in them.
more than them.
Wow.
Have we done this one already?
I thought so, but I think he was showing us a live version.
Yeah. I was just going to comment to myself.
To yourself?
Yeah. There's only about 3 or 4 bands that I've seen that consistently sound better live than on the record.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love Slipknot, but they're not on that list. I've been this close to Slipknot on a multitude of occasions. I think they're trying. There's just too much stuff.
Well, the guy with the bat, he
Yeah.
sounds the same.
Yeah. But this band right here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're watching it on video. We're eventually going to see this band live. I am certain that they're one of the few. I just think it's like the vocal style is such a signature in this band.
Yeah. And we're both like 80s fans.
Mm-hmm.
And her voice has like this 80s vibe to it.
It
but
does.
then it's got this like the rock in there too, but it doesn't sound like super dated.
Some
It sounds
grunge,
modern, grunge.
Some grunge
yeah.
and grime. There's some grime in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Some grime in that vocalization for sure.
Yeah. Yep. Whew. Okay.
If you guys want to go back, we've done the actual like full review of this song, like detail by detail. Just put us in the search bar and look for it on YouTube. You'll find it. For me, like the stage presence is just so crazy, and it was funny too because when
the
we watched
lights and the
the compilation video that Mike did, they were talking about when she does a solo. Obviously, everybody's gonna look at you when you're doing the solo.
yeah.
And it was funny because she did a little solo, and I was like, "Ah, it's true, it worked." I did. I was looking at it. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yep. Yep. I wonder. if
Lost
they-
Tate says, "I can attest that they are that good in person." Yeah, I mean, and the other thing, like, I didn't realize until I got a guitar, all the moves and shit that your favorite guitarist does. I'm like, oh man, and then like I'm like. When I first picked up my guitar, I'm like, how in the world can they move around and still make sure they're hitting these notes?
Friggin', I don't even know why when she slipped on the stage we didn't hear some horrid sound.
Yeah.
That means she just kept it going?
Yeah, she was a pro.
I was like, what?
Yeah. We've seen other bands where the not the bassist, the lead guitarist. Actually, she does play guitar, I think. But one of the guitarists, his amp died on him and got unplugged, all type of shit, and like literally there was zero difference between.
No, he was playing, and then he stopped playing, and he just took the neck of his guitar and slid it down the amp. And like it made no difference. Zero!
None.
Yeah, you would notice though with this one if they decide to do something so outlandish because
That's what I'm saying.
they're so good at what they do, man.
Like the vocality is so strong. It's like it's insane. But for them to be able to carry that energy live
Yeah.
and move around, I'm not gonna say you're like a guitar like master, but they worked. They worked at the craft. They work at the art form, and I like that. And I love the story, like covering Metallica and Metallica going, "Oh, look at these girls," and then like, because I remember when that happened. I didn't know it was a warning, but I remember when that happened. I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then to see them now, like they're on their own doing. I mean, it's just incredible. It's just really, really incredible. Mm-hmm. This band will be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Book it.
They should. They should. If they keep it up and go long term, like, I don't see why they wouldn't because they're very, very good.
If you're a praying person, pray for them girls.
Yeah.
You know, it's a rotten industry they're in, and right now there's a honeymoon phase. But if you've listened to any of these bands for any period of time,
Yeah.
it's gonna get dark. So, if you're a praying person, pray for this band, pray for these girls, because they're beautiful. They're beautiful souls, man. I'd hate to look around in 10 years
Yeah.
and see that taken from them for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, guys, keep an eye out for a full Warning concert.
So Franco actually went to the Warning concert, and he.
We were this close to going.
Yep. He recorded it. Well, I don't know if it was his own recording or if it's like somebody else's recording, but he's going to bring us on the journey that he took through that concert. That's going to be another live stream altogether, and we're going to get to go like basically experience secondhand the concert, and yeah, so that would be cool.
Yeah, if you or your friends want a date for either a movie or a whatever, or a song or whatever, send us an email, vinandsory@gmail.com, or send an email to Sorry on Patreon. And
Either Patreon or if you have the secret email.
We'll see about trying to get that like squeezed in for you. All right, what did you give that one?
Oh boy, this one I think is a 10 for me. I really like 10 for me. This is a 10.
I got to give this one a 9.8. These girls are incredible. Shout out to DJ Mike. We haven't done or director Mike. My bad.
No, it's not a director. It's
well,
DJ.
he's a director. Well,
if it's a movie, then we call him director. If
Right,
it's
right,
music, we call him DJ.
Well, there you are.
He's done both.
He's done both. This was a really, really good selection. I actually really liked that band at the beginning. What are they called again?
The Cost, yeah.
Shout out to The Cost.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I want some more of that
Yeah,
band.
so
hopefully
do
more
I.
people put out for that band, because I want to hear more of
We
them.
want to hear more of the discography.
Yeah.
We don't listen to anything. If you guys introduce something new to us, we, as difficult as it is, we don't go down
we
the
can't.
rabbit hole with them because we really want to be able to do that with you guys. So, you know how that is. You know how that goes. I'm still waiting for more Ren.
I will allow the Warning to cover a Beatles song. Well, isn't that precious? Well, thank you. Dwayne is allowing the Warning.
The Beatles.
Mike, get on that with the girls. Dwayne just said they can do a Beatles cover.
So what's the Beatles? Hold on, came out with something, because you know how her husband does that. Hold on, where is it? He got sent something early release.
I never told Dwayne because
don't.
He'd lose his mind.
Don't tell Dwayne. Where'd the picture go?
if he knew.
Oh, I don't know what happened. Maybe I overscrolled.
Was it that McCartney thing?
Well, yeah, there was something new that came out, and he got
An advanced copy?
Yeah. I was gonna read it. I was gonna be like, hey, this is what it was, but I don't know.
Yeah, we've got some advanced Beatles gear that you're not even privy to, Mr. Dwayne. Because we're a very connected, family. You guys have no idea.
I was still gonna share it with you. But
you guys have
know
no
what?
idea how connected we are.
I have a feeling she wasn't supposed to put that out because he got it as an early release. Because that post is now MIA.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's why they always tell you, like, yo, you think you could talk to Shorty? You think so? Hold on, isn't that them right there?
That's not the one.
That's
it
not
was
the
a
one?
picture of her husband with the new stuff that was early release.
Oh.
So I don't think she was supposed to put that. I think he was like, "Yo, take that down."
Okay, I see.
Oh no!
Whoa, what the world?
What?
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I thought the same thing. I said, "My lord."
All right, guys. Much love to all you beautiful people. Shout out to the big homie DJ Mike in this bitch.
DJ Mike.
Wait.
Did we get enough likes? Let me just look.
No, we only got 6.
Oh, really?
We only got 6. That's all that
so
matters.
sad.
There you
so
go.
sad.
Vin out.
Sorry out.
Down.